Hello and welcome. Today's video is a continuation of my sort of mini series on things that I have no idea what I'm doing and should probably pay for somebody else to do for me. And what we're going to be doing today is trying out some ways to refinish this bell section. This is off a used cruddy Chinese flugelhorn and it's in pretty rough shape. There's some rust patches and corrosion that's starting to come through here. We've got some massive issues on some of the brass here and some old solder markings and all that sort of stuff. It's a worthless piece of brass. And if you were to go into a shop with an instrument that had this sort of surface on it, they would probably remove the lacquer, try to recover the status of the metal, polish it up, re-lacquer it, etc. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do today is experiment with very gentle, well, relatively gentle sandblasting. So I've got an air compressor here. I've got some very fine grade sand that you use for sandblasting, and I'm just going to see what happens when I apply some sand to it. A disclaimer before we get started. I have not got any training or experience or expertise in the area of instrument repair, metalwork or anything like that. I am simply a person with a dangerous amount of enthusiasm and several tools to which can help me achieve that reckless amount of enthusiasm. Do not do anything that you see me doing here unless you know that it's a good idea. Alright, do not try to copy this because I don't have a clue what I'm doing. As I said at the start of the video, this goes under the heading of things that I don't know what I'm doing and you should probably get somebody to do it for you. So, without further ado, let's make some mess. Having completed that little bit of experimentation, it's now time to give my results. And what have I learnt? Well, quite simply, that light sandblasting does diddly squat. The corrosion is still very much present. The old solder areas are still just as bad as they were. However, what we do have is this beautiful speckled sort of satin brass finish over the rest of the instrument. If I bring this up close, you may be able to see some of that. It is a lovely, it sort of is like a satin brass finish and it looks very nice. And so what I thought I'd do, just because I'm very reckless with things, is I'd take this bell section that I had and do the same thing to it. So it's still varnished, it's still lacquered under the bell, but on the rest of the instrument I've applied that same sandblasting process to it, and it looks to me in real life really quite nice. If we look up here, we can see we've got this rose brass satin finish. We've got some actual brass here and some silver thing there, and the rest of the bell I think looks really quite nice. You can see the seam where they solder the two parts of the bell together, and yeah, I think it looks fantastic. So that's my experiment. It doesn't do much to any conditions that the brass has, but it does tend to give it a really nice satin coating.